Tommy, you know, he's fought an uphill battle his entire life. He's pretty much can't hear anything. He's blind as a bat. And, I mean, even as far as blind and deaf people go, he's stupid. So, I mean, he's really only had one thing that he could ever relate to, and that was pinball. Being friends with Tommy, it's interesting. You know, it's kind of an alternative lifestyle. I mean, his life revolves around pinball. So, you know, I mean, at a certain point, you don't want to hang out at the arcade anymore. But you know what? Just seeing that little guy bang away at that pinball machine, it's an inspiration, you know?
Well, you know, I used to be friends with the kid with no hands who was really good at Donkey Kong. And after a while, that just kind of got old. I mean, you can only watch so many barrels. But there's so much diversity in the pinball community that it's a lot of variety. So that helps.
I came to Boulder with the intention of getting a closer look at this pinballing pioneer and sharing his story with the rest of the world. Upon my arrival, I attempted to sit down with Tommy in order to gain some insight into the mind of a pinball wizard. But in Tommy's world, even the simplest of tasks proved to be extremely difficult.
No. Tommy? Tommy?
What?
If not impossible. It was then we decided to take a stroll through the hallway. It was also then that it occurred to me that Tommy's hearing deficiency was going to be more of a problem than previously anticipated.
Alright, yes, he can't.
Determined to still learn more about this titan of tilt, I turned to those closest to him for more insight.
Tell me just a little bit about what it's like having that relationship with Tommy.
Well, Tommy's he's a unique character. It's kind of different being around him.
How do you think he does it?
I don't know.
And just, what is it that makes him so good?
Tommy? Good?
Yeah, right, deaf, dumb, blind.
At pinball.
All good?
No.
No?
No, not Tommy.
Not good.
No. He's... Ugh.
Cameron?
No.
A word?
After a brief chat with my producer, it was revealed to me that Tommy is in fact not a pinball wizard at all, but something more along the lines of a pinball weasel.
They say that he plays by sense of smell, but I mean, how the hell do you smell a pinball? What does a pinball even smell like? And not only that, it's underneath glass. So I'm not really sure. I mean, he doesn't really know what the hell he's doing, but no one's ever had the heart to tell him.
Now, slightly less determined but still under contract, I agreed to spend the rest of the day with Tommy in an effort to better understand this bogus bastion of bump. Upon further examination, it became increasingly clear that all of Tommy's so-called pinball records were not actually held on any actual pinball machines.
Yeah. All bumper select, high score. Yeah.
Now, coming into this, I was under the impression that he was somewhat of a pinball wizard.
Yeah, a lot of people make that mistake. I'm not really sure why.
Yeah, and yeah, he's really not.
He's awful.
Yeah.
I've seen people be really terrible at a lot of things, but I mean, it's pinball, you know? You got two flippers and a ball. How complicated can it be? It turns out very, very complicated.
Why doesn't he seems to be under the impression that he is, like, miraculous, and why hasn't anybody told him that?
Well, a lot of it is his hearing problems. We've tried to convey this to him. He just doesn't really seem to respond, or he'll think we're talking about a movie or something like that. And we did try to type it up a letter in Braille once. But you've seen him try to read Braille.
Free ball after 14,000 points.
He thought it was a certificate of excellence at pinball. He actually framed it. He put the Braille letter behind glass and put it on his wall.
After hearing from everyone else, it was finally time to buckle down and get Tommy to open up.
My father was an inner-city boot shiner, and he just working for pence a day. My mom was a wench working in an arcade in the city, you know, and that's where I spent most of my childhood, sniffing around and just really getting a feel of those rooms, you know, the stick of the floor, the the sweet odor of the men's room, the pungent taste of a sticky glass paneling that little kids have been playing on, because little kids have very sticky hands. You know, it really made me realize that pinball is not just a game, but it was a way of life. Something that really connected me with the outside world. You know, it's not really easy being a blind or deaf person, but you know, I just the feel, the crunch, it's really profound. I've never told anyone that before. You know, it's tough. It's hard out there. But I'm a champion, and I play on, and I don't let it get me down. I let it motivate me. It's much better, and I think that is the future of pinball.
And then my producer called to let me know that 2 hours of mindless rambling was more than enough, as he had just been informed of a new possible documentary subject involving a kid with no hands who's very good at Donkey Kong. As for Tommy's story, his friend Boris tells us that there is always a lesson to be learned.
Just seeing that little guy bang away at that pinball machine, it's an inspiration, you know. It inspires me to, you know, to make sure that, you know, I don't go blind and deaf and dumb. You know, I mean, it's really what's important in life. It's making sure that you never go blind or deaf or dumb.